All right, everybody, welcome back to all who are here watching our new episode today. My name is Stephanie Michele Sweigart. I'm a licensed and practicing school-based SLP out in Los Angeles, California. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm here to speechtherapypd.com. Before we introduce our incredible guest, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of the valuable insights that we are bringing you week after week on various speech, language, and hearing topics. We are all about spreading the knowledge and fostering your understanding and building your skill sets and your know-how here at speechtherapypd.com's YouTube channel and over at speechtherapypd.com. So join our community if you have not already. All right, let's jump in. I have the honor of a remarkable guest sitting here with me today, Corey Pollard. Corey is a data-driven and analytical educational therapist and diagnostician who is deeply passionate about helping struggling readers to really close the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And she has spent over 10 years working at leading research and clinical institutes, including Johns Hopkins University, Children's Hospital of Colorado, and the University of Denver, before moving on and opening her very own practice, Ascend Learning and Educational Consulting, in 2015. So welcome, Corey. Thank you so much. I know you're super busy. We are so glad to have you here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and be talking with all the lovely SLPs and professionals that are gaining knowledge from everything you do.
Yeah. So where are you right now? Where are you live coming from?
Yeah, so I'm in Denver, Colorado. So our practice is based out of Denver, but we do have remote clinicians too. So we've got some people all over the place, but I'm here in Denver, Colorado.
I love that. I was just talking to another professional about just what Zoom and virtual and remote has really opened up for us, the possibilities to reach more people and help a greater amount of clients and parents who can't necessarily come in person to where we are.
Absolutely. And especially being in the Denver area, we get a lot of families from more remote areas, even in, Wyoming and Nebraska, who maybe are a little bit further outside of a city that just don't necessarily have those resources. And so it's great to have that online opportunity too, even for families that are close, but not close enough to come see you once a week.
Amazing. What a gift. Okay, so let's jump right in. We know that you are one of multiple authors on a course on speechtherapypd.com called Language and Literacy Conference. So this is very exciting that this is coming out. And I think the golden question that we have for you today and for all of our listeners really is, if you could, what would be the top 3 takeaways from your presentation that listeners could begin to implement into their sessions with clients immediately?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question. So, as a literacy specialist, I have a slightly different background. And so we're really going to be talking about kind of that interdisciplinary approach and what are the things that we can be doing as speech language pathologists, as literacy specialists, really coming together to be able to create that kind of collaborative and, again, multidisciplinary approach for students. And so the 3 things that we're really going to be talking about is, 1, what are our unique contributions that we can be making to students' literacy ability? So sometimes I think there's question about, I'm an SLP, what is my role? And what is the reading specialist or the literacy specialist role? And what's the classroom teacher's role? And who does what? Not wanting to step on each other's toes. So just thinking about what are the unique contributions that we all have into that puzzle? And then coming away from that, what are really the top 3 contributors? So we'll be talking about the top 3 contributors, if we can think of 3 specific things that we can do as SLPs, as literacy specialists, as general education teachers to all get ourselves kind of onto the same page. So we'll be walking away with those 3 key pieces there. And then the last thing, which I think is the most helpful, is actually having actionable strategies that you can implement immediately. So like you said, what can we do as we go back with our clients, back with our students? And so we'll be sharing specific, we'll have some handouts and things that you can actually use, cut out words that you can use and things like that, that you can bring to your general education teachers, that you can bring to the literacy specialists, and see if we can't all be starting to work on some consistent language, some consistent visuals that we can be using with students, and then thinking about goals too. What are the goals and how are we writing those goals, and what are we thinking about as a literacy kind of special education or literacy interventionist and an SLP to have goals that are aligned with each other. And so those will be kind of the big things that we'll be talking about. And hopefully it should be a really fun time too, just to get some different perspectives. And again, some really fun visuals and things like that that you can use with students that should really close that gap again for students from where they're at with their literacy and where we want them to be.
I love that. So I think most importantly, I love how you brought up the fact about the multidisciplinary approach and the importance of everybody, all the different roles that can contribute to the client's success, and how sometimes SLPs are thinking like, well, if this is reading, does this really involve me? And what is my role in this? And understanding that and coming with a team and collaborating and seeing all those different pieces and how really they all work together. And I like how then you said we kind of go into actionable takeaways. So I love that you're going to have some hands-on strategies that clinicians can grab up and literally go the next day to their clients and begin to, implement these strategies. Could you give us a sneak peek maybe on one?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be talking about the 5 core components of literacy specifically. So we'll talk about phonological awareness, we'll talk about phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. And so we'll talk about fluency, because I think that's maybe one where when we think about fluency as literacy specialists, we're thinking about reading fluency. And a lot of times as an SLP, we might be thinking about speech fluency. And so we might be looking at that through a slightly different lens. But one of the things that we can really talk about is when we think about fluency and building fluency for students, we want to think about subject, predicate, adverbial, but we don't use that language. So the language that we would use is who or what, did what, when, where, why, or how. And so we've got specific visuals that we can use that tie onto that as well. And the beautiful thing for that is that that starts to create fluency both in our spoken language, but also as we're reading, we can start to kind of scoop that out and identify that in the material that we're reading. So whether that's a narrative text or an informative text, we can start to find that specific information using, again, that language, who or what, did what, when, where, why, or how. And then if we can pull in the visuals as well, where we've got little visuals that we'll share that have a little who or what, did what, when, where, why, or how, we're using the same consistent language as speech language pathologists, as literacy specialists, general education teachers can do this as well. And it helps to build, again, that phrasing, that fluency, and it starts to set us up for reading comprehension as we start to think about the 5 W's and some of those things that you might be working on in your sessions as well. So that's kind of one little tip that we've got, again, tips for all 5 core components of literacy.
I love that. I love that, because I'm thinking about how when you just said that everybody starts to use the same language with those who, what, when, where, why, what they did. Maybe not in that order, but if we're all using that same language, what I'm hearing is we're really generalizing the skills to multiple settings. So that's exciting. And it's funny, when you were sharing that, my brain went to, when you started to talk about the WH questions, to comprehension, but you were saying that this supports fluency, which my brain would not have connected that. So that's really interesting.
Well, I think that's a big thing too, because when we think about fluency, the goal for reading fluency is to build comprehension. And I think sometimes we get so caught in rates and so caught in, accuracy, but that's a great strategy to be able to support both, where you're supporting that rate because you're giving students an opportunity, again, to read, all right, let's just do who or what. Okay, great. Now we've said who or what a few times. Let's move into did what. Okay, great. Now let's string it together. Now let's get that adverbial phrase or that extra information in there. And it starts to really build that fluency, and it helps students to start to recognize there's possible accuracy issues where, well, maybe I misread something because I don't have a who or a what, did what, when, where, why, or how. And so there's just so much in something so simple. But yes, I think, again, it's a great fluency strategy, but it should be supporting executive functioning. It should be supporting comprehension. It should be supporting a lot of other skills as well.
It's hitting all those points.
Yeah.
Yes, awesome. Well, this is so exciting. Okay, so if people are really interested in this and want to learn more about this, where can they go for your resources or to find out more information about you or what you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us pretty much on all social at Smarter Intervention. So just at Smarter Intervention. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube. That's kind of our handle across the board. And then also smarterintervention.com is where you can reach our website as well.
Okay, perfect. So All those handles, all those links are going to be listed in the show notes below this episode. So for anybody who's watching, just scroll down from this episode and you should be able to just click and go to what Corey is sharing. So that's awesome. Thank you for being so available and for all of your wisdom and golden nuggets and everything that you're sharing with everything that you're teaching and sharing with others. What a gift.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for having me. I'm excited for this talk, and I hope everyone else is too.
Yes, absolutely. So everybody who is listening, as we conclude this episode, I hope that you enjoyed it. We both hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to encourage each and every one of you to really approach challenges in nurturing literacy with mindfulness and compassion, remembering that every child's journey really is unique. And it's in our shared empathy and understanding that we can truly begin to make a difference for our clients. So let's carry forward this knowledge that we're learning and the insights that are gained here on these YouTube episodes with a compassionate heart and a mindful spirit, and knowing that by approaching, every child's learning experience with not only just patience, but kindness and understanding, we begin to create this nurturing environment where all young learners can really flourish and thrive. So thank you for joining us on this journey, and may your path ahead really be filled with mindful teaching, compassionate understanding, and endless possibilities for the students that you support. If you want to take a deeper dive into this topic, be sure to further your education, head on over to speechtherapypd.com, where you can check out this course. This is a conference with multiple presenters, and it's called the Language and Literacy Conference on speechtherapypd.com. So many gold nuggets you're going to scoop up, especially from our presenter, Corey Pollard, here today. So thank you again, Corey, for your contributions just across many different disciplines. I'm hearing this is not just a course for SLPs, but across the whole disciplinary field. So for other topics, when you subscribe to speechtherapypd.com, you're going to get over 1 year access to over 900 live and on-demand courses, and you're going to scoop up those ASHA CEUs. And if you're new to speechtherapypd.com, you can access a free course. And I believe there is a free course right now in the area of language and literacy. So be sure to check that out and give that a trial run. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and we will see you back here next week as we are answering more of those golden questions that SLPs and SLPAs and others across the multidisciplinary field are asking. We are bringing in the industry-leading experts to give you the answers you need to step up your game and build your know-how. We'll see you then, everybody.